today we will be discussing the DSB-C. It is like this, DSB-C demodulator. So try to understand one more thing, that since we will be discussing a DSB-C demodulator, okay, DSB-C means DSB, that is double sideband with carrier. So try to understand one thing, that this, since this is double sideband with carrier, okay, the demodulator that we will be discussing, in order to use that demodulator, you need to have your carrier. Without the carrier, you cannot use it. So the name of that demodulator is the envelope detector, new demodulator. So let us write a few details about this demodulator, and let us look at the circuit diagram, and then I will explain it what it's working. Okay. So let us look at the merit of the amplitude modulated signal, and then some of the features of this envelope detector. We could note it down, that the merit of the amplitude modulated carrier or AM carrier is the ease with which the baseband signal can be recovered. Signal can be recovered. Okay. So this is the advantage of your amplitude modulated signal with carrier. So if carrier is present, it could be demodulated quite easily. Okay. So normally, what kind of device we use for this demodulation? We use again a diode. Okay. However, the diode will be operating in a linear region. You could note it, diode operating in a linear region of its VI characteristics. Can extract the envelope, can extract the envelope of an AM wave, Okay. So this kind of detector is sometimes called envelope detector or the linear detector. You could note that also. This type of detector. So detector and the demodulator are used interchangeably. The meaning is somewhat same. Okay, this type of detector is an envelope detector or a linear detector. Okay. So now that we have known about the characteristics of the device that will be used for demodulation, we have understood that it will be used in the linear region. So linear region, I think you understand that in the VI characteristic of a diode, so the initial low voltage region is actually non-linear, and then as we go further, it is linear. Okay, so you could say, okay, that this portion that you see here, let me show it in a different, let me highlight it. So this portion that you see here is the non-linear region. This is your non-linear region, which is the low voltage region, and then you could see this place here. This is basically the linear region, okay, of the VI characteristics. Okay, so V is this axis and I is obviously this axis. Okay, so voltage across the diode and the current through the diode, they are related like this. So in this particular kind of demodulator, we will be using the diode in this region, in the linear region basically. Okay, so let us now look at the circuit diagram of this kind of demodulator. Circuit diagram. Okay, so the circuit diagram is actually quite simple. Only thing that you have to provide is the AM signal here, okay, with the polarity like this, plus and minus like this, and then we have a diode here. Then the diode is followed by a simple capacitor, okay, and then a resistor, then a resistor. Okay, So this circuit is that simple. So the output that we will get across this register. Okay. So output we will obtain here. So we could say that this is the detected output. Okay. And let me just show you something here. Try to understand that this is just the capacitor's discharge path. This is required to be known to you, because when we will be understanding its working, at that time it will be quite helpful. Okay. So have you drawn it? So now let's see how this particular device actually works. Okay. So let me explain it and then we will write. Okay. So one by one, part by part, let me explain how this device actually works. Okay. So the first part of this device is this one. As you could see, we have this circuit here. This is the plus terminal, this is the minus terminal, and in this way it is connected. So the input to this circuit is, as we have written already, that it is the AM signal. So the AM signal actually looks like this. If you have seen me drawing the amplitude modulated signal in the time domain, you will find that I would have drawn like this. That we will be only getting this part, which I am highlighting in orange. Okay. So that particular part we will get. Let me highlight it like this. Okay. So the output signal at this diode, at the output of this diode, will look something like this. Okay. So now see, the next part of the circuit is that capacitor and that resistor. Let us have a look on that. Okay. So here we are getting this signal. Let me just redraw that signal. So this is the signal that will be passing through that capacitor circuit. Okay. So we have a capacitor here, okay, and a resistor in parallel, something like this. Okay. Now see what happens when we apply this voltage across this particular like RC circuit. What will happen, you know? Let me just show you. So as the voltage increases, okay, along with it, okay, could you just mark the red signal that I am like drawing over the blue colored signal? So the red color signal actually shows you the charge of the capacitor. Okay, so this is the voltage VC that will be stored in the capacitor. Okay, now see, when the signal reaches here, okay, this value VC, which is the charge inside the capacitor, okay, then you could see that after that the voltage has reduced, and you could see for some time there is no voltage at all. No voltage is provided. So during that time, what will happen, you know, this capacitor voltage, this will start decaying slowly. Okay, so it will start decaying slowly like this. Okay, and again when the carrier signal will come up, okay, so this will again charge. It will again charge to the peak value, and in the next cycle it will start discharging like this. Okay, again it will charge, again it will discharge like this, again charge, again discharge. So this goes on like this. Okay, so this discharge that you see here, okay, in this portion, let me show you. In this portion here, you could see here, you could see the discharge. This discharge is actually through this resistor. Okay, this discharge is through this particular resistor. So if you reduce the resistance of this resistor, obviously the discharge rate will be increased. Okay, it will discharge faster. Okay, it will discharge faster. If you increase the value of R, what will happen? It will discharge much slower. It will discharge slowly. So there is an optimal value of R and C that is actually chosen. Okay, so if you choose your RC too large, obviously the discharge rate will be low, and it will be like this. Let me just show you a simple case where the discharge rate is slow. Okay, so let's say that we have a signal like this. I am drawing the full signal, although when the signal will come up to this RC circuit, it will hardly have the negative part. It will not have the negative part. Okay, so this is the carrier. that will be applied. So now what happens here, if the value of RC is too large, so it will charge like this. Okay, it will charge like this, it will charge like this, and then discharge, charge, and then discharge. So if the discharge rate is low na, so it will go on like this, it will discharge like this. Okay, and then it will discharge like this. Now if the value of RC is too less, let's see what happens. So if the value of RC is too less, so obviously it will charge like this, then it will discharge like this, it will discharge like this. Okay, so this goes on like this. Okay, so what we actually try to do is we try to choose an optimal value of R and C. So due to which the signal is like this, it is discharged slowly, it should discharge slowly, and it should try to follow the envelope of the signal. This is what we actually desire. Okay, so this is the optimal value of RC. Okay, so this is RC too small. Just a minute. The red one shows that RC is too small. Sorry, too large, not too small. RC is too large. And if it is too small, then we will get a signal like this, as shown in this green color signal. RC too small. Okay, so we need a optimal value of RC. So let us now write the working of this circuit. So working of envelope detector. So the modulated signal received by the receiving antenna, the modulated signal received by the receiving antenna is fed to the diode detector. Okay, you could note all these things. Next point, on the positive cycle of the input signal, the input grows. Okay, the input grows and may exceed the charged voltage on the capacitor. Okay, which is nothing but Vc of t. Okay, and due to this, the diode will be on. So turning on the diode. Okay, and allowing the capacitor C and allowing the capacitor capital C to charge to the peak voltage. Okay, of the input signal cycle. Okay, so now the capacitor has been charged, and then the next thing that happens will be this one. So as the input signal falls below this peak value, it falls quickly. Okay, so it falls quickly below the capacitor voltage. Thus causing the diode to open circuit. Okay, next what happens, the capacitor discharges. Okay, so we could write that the capacitor now discharges through the resistor, which is capital R, okay, at a slow rate. Okay, so this rate is actually determined by the time constant RC. So with your time constant RC, okay, then in the next positive cycle the same process repeats. In the next positive cycle the same process repeats. Okay, so as we have understood that during each positive cycle the capacitor charges up to the peak voltage of the input signal and then decays slowly until the next positive cycle. We could write that during each positive cycle the capacitor charges up to the peak value or the peak voltage, up to the peak voltage of the input signal and then decays slowly until the next positive cycle. Okay, so this way the process goes on. So what we get at the output is this capacitor voltage Vc of t, which closely follows the envelope. So let me write that also. So the output voltage Vc of t thus closely follows the envelope of the input AM signal. Okay. So let me explain this process again, considering the whole circuit at once. So this is the modulated signal and this is basically the carrier, which is actually following the envelope of the modulating signal. So once we apply this particular signal to a modulator, a envelope detector, which consists of these particular devices here, okay, C and R, what happens? So initially when the voltage is applied, okay, the capacitor starts charging and it charges to this voltage Vc of t. Okay, so the capacitor will charge through this diode. Okay, why it will charge? Because the voltage across this capacitor, okay, which is your Vc of t, okay, let's say this input voltage is the modulating signal is, let's say, Vs of t. Okay, this is what is being applied to this circuit. So if this Vs of t is applied, you will find that the instantaneous value of Vc of t will be less than your Vs of t. So that's why what this diode does is this diode acts as a switch and it is on at that time. Okay, so that's why the voltage grows up to this Vc of t. Okay, this voltage, it will grow up to this voltage. Okay, so if let's say the previous voltage on the capacitor was, let's say, 0 volt. Okay, so that was the Vc of t previously. So now it grows up, that particular voltage grows according to that Vs of t, and it reaches a peak value. Okay, as has been shown here. So now the new Vc of t is this particular voltage. Okay, so in the next cycle, what happens? You could see that this voltage has dropped. Okay, once it is dropped, you will find that this diode will act as open circuit. Okay, so the diode will act as open circuit like this. So once the diode is open circuit, obviously it will start discharging. Okay, this capacitor will start discharging through this resistor. Okay, and in the next cycle again it goes on charging. The as the voltage actually increases, okay, then it will start charging again. Okay, so again it will discharge, again charge, and this goes on and on till we get the envelope of this signal. So this is how this particular circuit works. So whatever voltage is there at this capacitor Vc of t, okay, across this capacitor C, whatever voltage is there, we have named it Vc of t, and that Vc of t is nothing but the output voltage. Okay, that will be we will be finding here, and that is basically our demodulated signal. Got it? So now let us have a look what happens when the value of R or C change, like there is not optimal. Okay. So the slow capacity, the slow capacity discharge via the resistor capital R actually allows the capacity, actually allows the capacitor voltage okay to follow a declining envelope. Okay. Now, because the maximum rate of your AM envelope decline is dominated by the bandwidth. Okay, by the bandwidth, which is actually denoted as capital B of the message signal, which is your nothing but Vm of t. Okay, so the design criterion of your RC should be like this. So 1 by omega c, okay, should be less than equal to RC, should be less than your 1 by 2 pi b. So if this value is followed, this value of RC is followed, this will be the optimal value. Okay, or we could write it in this way, that 2 pi b, okay, is less than 1 by RC. We have just taken the reciprocal actually, should be much less than omega c. Okay, so if this condition is followed, then obviously you will get the then the value of RC will be optimal. Okay, and we will be able to avoid the problems that were happening due to RC being too large. Okay, so as we had seen that when RC was too large, it was like this, it was going on like this, whereas what we want is we want to follow the envelope of this signal. Just a minute. Yeah, what we want is just to follow the envelope of this signal, something like this, not what we were getting. Okay, so the next device that we will be discussing is the square law detector. This is another demodulator. Square law, we have already discussed the square law modulator. This one is the square law demodulator or detector. Anything you could write? Square law detector. Okay, so let me just write the definition of this square law detector, and then we will go to its circuit diagram. You will find that its circuit diagram is quite similar to the previous detector that we had seen. Okay. However, there are some changes. Let me write the definition first. You could note it down. Definition. So the square law detector circuit is used for detecting modulated signal of small magnitude, that is below 1 volt. Okay, so that the operating region may be restricted to the nonlinear portion of the VI characteristics of the device. Okay, let me write it, then I will explain. So the square law sorry, these are two different words, square and law. The square law detector circuit is used for detecting, let me correct it, square law. Okay, so detector circuit is used for detecting modulated signal of small magnitude. Okay, what does this small magnitude means? That is below 1 volt. Okay, so that the operating region may be restricted to the nonlinear region, to the nonlinear region of the VI characteristics. Okay, so as has been written here, that this particular device, in this particular device also we will be using a diode. However, that diode will be working in the nonlinear region. Let me just redraw the VI characteristics of this diode. So this is your V and this is the current through the diode. Okay, voltage across the diode and the current through the diode. So the characteristics are normally like this, isn't it? So here you could see this is the non-linear region. So this device will be working in the non-linear region, not in linear. Okay, so it will not work in the linear, region. Rather, it will work in the non-linear region of the VI characteristics. Okay, so let me just show you the circuit diagram. You will find it to be quite similar to the previous circuits. So the circuit diagram is like this. So this is the signal that will be feeding into it. So plus minus VC, and then here is the capacitor, and then there is a resistor. C, and this is the R, and this is the diode D. Okay, and the output is detected here. So this is the detected output. Okay, so this is basically the diagram for the square law detector. So if you compare this one with the previous circuit, don't you think it is quite similar to the previous one? Wait, there is a small difference. Let me do that. So you will have a battery here. That will be the only difference probably. That will be noticeable to your eye. VAA. Okay, so just compare this particular circuit, okay, with the previous circuit that we have used. So do you find any similarity with the previous circuit? Let me just redraw the previous circuit. The previous circuit was like this. Just redraw it for your reference. So there was also a capacitor here, and then the resistor here. The difference is basically the diode. Okay, although the diagrams are same, however, in the second circuit, the diode operates in the linear region. So in this circuit, the diode operates in the linear region, and here the diode in our new circuit, the diode operates in the non-linear region. That is the biggest difference. The second difference is that in the previous circuit, you could see that the capacitor and the resistor combination we were using to charge and discharge this capacitor. We were actually using the signal to charge and discharge this capacitor basically. However, here this RC combination, whatever you see here, they will be used as a low pass filter. Try to understand this difference, that here the job is of your low pass filtering, LPF, while here in the previous circuit it was not so. Okay, we were only charging and discharging the capacitor just to get the envelope of the previous signal. So that is one difference. Okay, if we compare this one with the previous circuit, the square law modulator let me just draw the square law modulator. You will find the similarities and the difference. So there was Vc of t, and then there was Vm of t, and then here you could see that the diode was there, and then it was followed by a inductor and then a capacitor in parallel. Okay, and it was like this, and some battery voltage was there like this. So this was there, we were getting the output. So now just compare these two particular circuits. Do you find any similarity or differences? So here also you could see in the third circuit that I have drawn, here also the diode will be working in the non-linear region. So here also the diode is working in the non-linear region. Okay. And then you could see there is this this inductor and capacitor combination, and in this case you could see that the resistor and capacitor combination is there. So the difference is that as I have already shown you that this particular capacitor and resistor combination is a low pass filter. In the previous case, this inductor and capacitor combination was basically a band pass filter, or it was basically a tuned circuit. So let us note these differences, and then we will discuss the working of this demodulator. So you could note that the circuit is very similar to the square law modulator and envelope detector. If you look at it, obviously you will see these different, you will see a lot of similarities. So what are the differences? If we compare with the envelope detector, then here, however, detector, the diode operates in the nonlinear region. Okay, and the RC combination acts as low pass filter. Okay, so that is the basic difference between this particular circuit and the envelope detector. Now let us look at the difference between this particular circuit and the square law modulator. Okay, so differences are like this. In a square law modulator, diodes are in the both circuits. The diodes are working in the nonlinear region. However, in a square law modulator, the filter used, which was basically a inductor or coil, okay, inductor, and then along with a capacitor combination, inductor capacitor combination, was a band pass filter. Okay, whereas in a square law detector, it is a low pass filter. Okay, that RC combination. Let me write it in bracket that it is nothing but the RC combination is a low pass filter. Okay. So let me now explain you the working principle. Let us write the working, and then I will explain it to you how it works actually. Working of square law detector. So the first thing is the DC voltage. Okay, so this is the DC voltage, that VAA. If you have not seen, let me just show you which one is the VAA. So here you could see that VAA is here. Okay, so let me show you what is the job of that VAA. So the DC voltage VAA is used to get the fixed operating point. Okay, the fixed operating point in the nonlinear portion of the diode VI characteristics. Okay. Now the next point, since the operation is limited to since the operation is limited to the nonlinear region of the diode, diode VI characteristics basically. Okay, so the lower half portion, the lower half portion of the modulated waveform is compressed. Now see, this produces envelope applied distortion. Okay, and due to this the average value of the diode current is no longer constant, rather it varies slowly. Okay, so let me just show you the diagram, you will understand it better, that how it is actually changing. So we have understood that voltage VAA is just used for fixing the operating point. Now let us look at the operating point and how the signal is applied. So the nonlinear characteristics are like this. Okay, and here is the operating point. This point is this is basically the operating point. Okay, so the signal that is to be processed through this particular circuit is applied here. Let me show you here. That particular signal is applied here. Okay, so this is where we will be providing the input. Let me just draw the input signal also. These are just reference lines. Okay, so let me use a different color to draw the input signal. So the input signal will be like this, and this is the modulated signal, if you could see. Okay, so this is the modulated signal that is applied across this circuit. Okay, and once it is applied to this circuit, okay, then obviously we will be getting an output. Let me now just show you the output also. So you could see these are the lines where I will be getting the output. These are the reference lines where we will be getting the output. Okay, so the operating point has been chosen like in such a way, you could see that as we try to now reproduce that signal back, okay, as we pass that signal through this particular circuit, you could see that the lower portion of this particular signal is somewhat compressed. Okay, the upper portion is somewhat the same. However, the lower portion you could see is quite compressed. Okay, so this is the signal that we will be getting. Okay, so once we find the average of this particular signal, okay, this yellow colored signal is actually representing the average value of this. So as we are passing this signal through this particular circuit, what we are getting, this yellow colored signal, which is the average component. Okay, so this is the average, and this one is the carrier envelope. Okay, and the signal which I have shown you here in the red is the input signal or the modulated signal. Okay, and here obviously your V is equal to AC into 1 plus MA cos omega MT. Okay, cos omega CT. So as we pass this signal through this particular diode, the operating point has been chosen in such a way that you could see that the lower portion is actually compressed. Here you could see that the lower portion is somewhat compressed, you could see. So once we apply this modulated signal to this diode, okay, so what happens? You could see the lower portion of this signal gets compressed. Okay, So due to that, some envelope applied distortion will be present in this signal, and the average component is as shown in this yellow colored one. Average component will be like this. Okay. So today what we will be doing the mathematical analysis of this process, how this signal is being demodulated. We have to understand that. Today we will be doing the mathematical analysis of it. Okay. So the diode current, this distorted diode current, okay, is expressed by the nonlinear VI characteristics. Nonlinear VI characteristics. We already know the nonlinear VI characteristics, right? In the earlier class, we had seen that it was I is equal to A plus BV plus CV square. It was in this form. Okay. In the previous class, like when we were one of the previous classes, when we were discussing about the square law modulator, I had shown you the diode current is in this form. Current equation is in this form. However, I had also told you that based on the operating point, okay, based on the operating point, one or more of these terms will not be present. Okay. If the diode is working in the linear region, so this particular portion CV square will not be there. So if it is working at some other operating point, you may find that this a term will not be there. Sometimes it is, if it is working in some other operating point, you might find that this BV will not be there. So there may be a change in this BI characteristics based on the operating point, obviously. So in this case, the operating point is chosen in such a way that your I is equal to AB plus BV square. Okay. So let it be equation number A. Now, what is V here? Let me tell you that V here is the modulated voltage that we will be applying. So let me write it here. Here, capital V, okay, is the modulated voltage. Okay, and we already know how that V is expressed. Okay, so let me rewrite it. So we know that the AM wave is expressed as your V is equal to AC into 1 plus MA cos omega MT, okay, and then cos omega CT. Let it be equation number B. So let us apply this equation number B into equation number A. Okay, so let us put it in that diode current equation and let's see what happens. So substituting the value of V in equation A, which is the diode current equation. So that equation was like this: I is equal to AB plus BV square. Okay, so that means which will be equal to, okay, A times then your that signal AC, okay, into 1 plus MA cos omega MT cos omega CT. Okay, then plus, okay, BV square na. So B times in the square bracket AC into 1 plus MA cos omega MT cos omega CT and whole square. Let it be equation number C. Okay. Now let us just multiply everything, this A and B inside this bracket, and let us find the whole square also. Let us do all these operations and see what we are getting. Okay. So that means we will be getting, or we will be getting I is equal to, okay, the first term will be AC cos omega CT plus, okay, A into AC into MA, okay, cos omega CT cos omega MT. This will be the second term, okay, and then we will be getting B into AC square cos square omega ct, that plus B into MA square AC square cos square omega mt cos square omega ct. Okay, and then the third term will be the 2AB term, which is 2B AC. Okay, then cos omega ct MAAC cos omega mt cos omega ct. So these are the different terms that we will be getting from this equation. Okay, so let us have a look on the different terms here and try to understand what is their frequency component. Okay, so here if you see the first term, this one AAC cos omega ct, this is nothing but the carrier frequency. If I try to draw the spectrum in this way, let's say this is your 0. Okay, this is 0 frequency, then you could say this AC cos omega ct will appear here. Okay, AAC, it will appear here and the frequency will be omega c, or I could write it in this way, it will be better. The frequency will be how much? Fc. Okay, then the second term you see here is your A into AC into MA cos omega ct cos omega mt. This is basically the same input signal, the modulated signal. So it will be at this frequency ASC MA, and here it is FC plus FM, and the other side it will be FC minus FM. So this is again the modulated signal. Then look at it, the next signal. Okay, that BAC, this signal, let me show you. Okay, so this BAC square cos square omega ct. So cos square omega ct is equal to 1 plus cos 2 omega ct by 2. Okay, so it will have two different components. One will be a DC component at this location, which will be BAC square. Okay, and the second one will be at cos 2 omega ct. That means if this is FC, then that means 2 FC will be somewhere here, 2 FC. So that component will be here. Okay, that yellow component will be here. Okay, then here and here. Okay, then next you could see the next term is B in B MA square AC square cos square omega mt cos square omega ct. So it is a double frequency term. Okay, you will get multiple frequency components from this actually. Okay, so this from this, which I have highlighted in green, you will get multiple frequency components. Actually, it will be like this. Let me just show you how it will look like. So it will be B into MA square AC square. It will be like this. Then besides that, cos square omega mt is 1 plus cos 2 omega mt. Okay, and then the second term is 1 plus cos 2 omega ct whole by 2 by 2. So from here you will be getting multiple frequency components. Okay, so these frequency components will be here 2 FC plus 2 FM and 2 FC minus 2 FM. So these frequency components, which I have highlighted in green, they will be located here. Okay, then the next term 2B, this last term, 2B AC cos omega ct MA AC cos omega mt. So now let us look at this particular term. Okay, what does this particular term consist of? So that is our actually desired term. So let me write it in this way. So 2B, okay, AC, acha, twice you could see AC is there. So let me write it as AC square and then MA, okay, MA, and then you could see cos omega ct is twice in that term. So I can write it as cos square omega ct, then cos omega mt. So you are getting this term. Now what I could do is I could express this cos square omega ct as 1 plus cos 2 omega ct. 1 plus cos 2 omega ct by 2. Okay, I'll make this term like this. The other terms will be as it is. So 2b AC square MA 1 plus cos 2 omega ct by 2, then cos omega mt. So which I could write it as, this is equal to, if I multiply it, I will get, this 2 will be cancelled. So I will get BAC square, okay. Then MA, we know the value of MA is actually AM by AC, okay. The value of modulation index MA is AM by AC. So I am, instead of MA, I am writing here AM by AC, okay. Then let us multiply it. So the first term will be how much? Your cos omega mt, okay. Or let it be as it is. Then we will do it. 1 plus cos 2 omega ct by 2, then cos omega mt. Okay. So you could see when I am writing this as AM by AC, so one of this AC square is there. So see, this square will be cancelled. So that means we will be getting, now let us multiply. BAC AM, okay. The first term will be cos omega mt, okay. So this 2 is also cancelled, na? Yeah, this 2 is also cancelled. So BAC AM cos omega mt, that plus, okay, BAC AM cos 2 omega ct cos omega mt. So these are the terms. So let me just show these terms in the previous like spectral plot. Okay. So here you could see this is the spectral plot that we had done, okay, previously. So you could see the frequency components here. Let me just show them. So you could see this is your BACAM cos omega mt, and the other term is this one. Let me show you this. Okay. So the second term is BACAM cos 2 omega ct omega mt. Okay. So let me just first show you that cos 2 omega ct cos omega mt. So it will be located here. You could see the carrier frequency is here. So it will be located, that particular term will be located here, and here. So these locations are your 2FC plus FM. This is your 2FC minus FM. Okay. So these are the locations. This one and this one are those signals. And then the other signal that you have seen, that one which I have shown here in violet, BACAM cos omega mt. So it will be located here on the frequency spectrum. So this is your FM. Okay. So BAC, BAM or something is there, BACAM. Okay. So it is here, as you could see. Okay. So this is just the modulating signal. Okay. Message signal. That means this other component needs to be filtered out. Okay. So that is whose job is that? So you must have seen in the envelope detector, sorry, in the square law demodulator, you could have seen that after the diode we have a capacitor and a resistor in parallel like this. So this is the job of this particular circuit, okay, this particular circuit, to block the second frequency component. Okay, this one which I have highlighted in blue color, this term, okay, this term will be blocked by that capacitor resistor combination. So at the output, what we will be getting, once it is blocked by the capacitor, so we will be only getting the modulating signal. Okay. So let me write that. You could note it. Now, if the expression in C, if the expression in equation number C is expanded, then we observe the presence of terms, like 2 omega C, 2 omega C plus minus omega M, then omega M, you could mute yourself, omega M and 2 omega M. Okay. So besides the input frequency components, input frequency. terms. Okay, hence the diode current is passed through a low pass filter. Okay, that resistor capacitor combination is the low pass filter. So low pass filter which allows to pass the frequencies below or up to the modulating frequency, which is basically your omega m. Okay, and it rejects the other higher frequency component, the other higher frequency components. Okay, thus the baseband signal is recovered from the modulated signal. Thus the baseband signal is recovered from the modulated signal. Okay, that's all for the square law demodulator or detector.